Just because Pride Month is over doesn't mean we can't create all things rainbow. Hi, I'm Sheena Joy, and today I'm going to teach you how to macrame this rainbow butterfly banner. Try to say that 10 times fast. All right, so let's jump right on into it. We're going to need 2 wooden rings, as well as 7 wooden beads. And of course, we're going to need our cotton rope. I'm using Single Strand Cotton in 3.35 millimeters, but you can also use 3 strand or braided. And of course, we're going to need our yarn in rainbow colors. I'm using medium worsted weight. You will also need a measuring tape and some really sharp scissors and a screenshot of the grid pattern. To start our banner, we're going to need our wooden ring and our first strand of cotton rope. So take both ends of our cotton rope, place them together to fold it in half, then grab the loop end, and you want to take this loop and you want to place it right through the center of our wooden ring. Next, take your tail ends and you want to thread that all the way through your loop. Cinch up your slack, and this is how you tie a lark's head knot. Next, we're going to take our wooden bead and thread that onto our rope. To make this project easier for me, I'm going to attach my tail ends onto my macrame board here. I'll leave a link in the description box where I got my board as well as all the other supplies needed for this tutorial. Alright, grab another strand of rope and fold that one in half as well. Then with the loop end, you want to place that over top and behind your original cord. And with the long tail ends, thread that through the loop and pull. You want to make sure your cord is snug and right up tight to your wooden bead. Then grab another strand and tie another lark's head knot right directly next to it. Continue attaching your cotton rope until you have a total of 11 lark's head knots. Alright, now it's time to take a look at our pattern. We're going to start tying our knots at the top left corner and work our way all the way across to the top right. And the color we're going to use is the background color, which is off-white. So snip off a long strand of your off-white color. I like to work with 60 inches at a time. And we're going to attach it to the very first strand of cotton rope, making sure that your short tail is on the left-hand side and your long is on the right. Make a loop on your right, wrap your long tail end around and through the loop. Pull it so there is no excess slack. And as you can see, essentially all we did was just loop it around the first strand of our rope. To make this a secure knot, you want to repeat the same thing. So make a loop on your right, wrap your long tail end around and through the loop. And again, cinch up the slack a little bit, but not too tight because we want to be able to push it all the way up to the top of our lark's head knots. And this is how you tie a vertical double half-hitch knot. So I'm going to demonstrate the second one here because it's a little bit different. You want to place your yarn underneath the second strand of rope, make a loop on your right, wrap your tail end around and through the loop, and then cinch up to the top. Then repeat one more time, so make a loop on your right, wrap your tail end around and through the loop. So each square on our grid pattern represents a vertical double half-hitch knot in that corresponding color. And as you can see on our pattern, it is all white that goes all the way across the top. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to continue tying our vertical double half-hitch knots all the way across to the very end. Alright, so now that we've finished the very first row, we're going to take a look at our pattern here again. As you can see, we went all the way across the top, and now on the second row, we need to go back in the opposite direction. Working with the exact same strand of yarn we were working with in the first row, you want to pull it over to the left-hand side this time, make a loop on your left, wrap your tail end around and through the loop, and repeat. So it's essentially the exact same thing that we did for the first row, only backwards. So again, make a loop on your left, wrap your tail end around and through the loop. Then pull your cord underneath the next strand to your left and repeat. And on a side note, if you ever find that I'm going too fast for you, feel free to adjust the speed of this video by tapping the 3 dots on the top right corner. Alright, so taking a look at our grid pattern again, we completed the 3 squares in white. Now we need to do 3 in black. Alright, so to add another color, you want to take your old white strand and you want to place that down and out of the way. Then you want to cut off a long strand of your black yarn and you want to attach it just like we did at the very start, only right now we're going backwards, so we're going to have to attach it backwards. So this time you want your short tail end on your right and your long tail end on your left. You want to make a loop on your left, then wrap your long tail end around and through the loop. And then repeat to secure your knot and slide it up to the top. And just so you're aware, if you ever run out of length on any of your yarn, this is the exact same way we're going to attach a new piece. Whenever I attach a new piece, it is always 60 inches, which is roughly my arm span. I find that that length is perfect for me because it's long enough to give me a lot of knots and not too long that I'm constantly pulling my rope through the loop. Anyways, once you have your new piece attached, you want to hide the tail end in the back and then carry on tying your vertical double half-hitch knots in the direction that you need to go in. In our case, right now we're working from right to left. Now that we've finished our 3 white and our 3 black, now it's time to switch back to the white. So to switch back to a previous color, we're not attaching a new piece. What we're going to do is we're going to lie our black strand of yarn down and then grab our previous white strand. And what we're going to do is we're going to lift up all the center pieces here. These are called filler cords. We're going to lift them up and then we're going to take our white strand and we're going to run it underneath our white filler cords. Then lay your filler cords back down over top of your white strand of yarn. And you want to make sure your yarn is also over top of your previous black strand. Then all you have to do is carry on tying your vertical double half-hitch knots just the same as you were before. It sounds complicated switching back and forth, but really it's very easy. All we're doing is running it behind our work. Just don't pull your running strand too taut, otherwise it could cause your work to pucker. Alright, so let's continue zigzagging all the way down our grid pattern, adding new colors as needed. Once you've tied your last knot on the pattern, it's time to add another wooden bead. Next, we're going to grab another strand of cotton rope, fold it in half and make a loop, and attach it onto your top strand using a lark's head knot. Make sure your lark's head knot is taut and right up against your wooden bead. And you guessed it, we're going to attach 10 more. And I know that we're going to repeat the same thing again, but we're going to do it in the next color, which happens to be orange. Next, add another wooden bead, and of course the next color is yellow, followed by another wooden bead, and then a green butterfly, followed by blue, and then finally purple. Now that you have finished all of your butterflies, you want to make sure you end it off with another wooden bead. And then of course we need to end it off with another wooden ring, and we want it to look just like it does at the very start. So to do this, it's a little bit tricky because we have 2 cords here. So what we're going to do is we're going to tie a vertical lark's head knot with the top strand. To do this, place your top strand in through the center of your ring, fold it backwards onto itself, and then angle it down. Pull your tail end back up through your wooden ring. And you want to leave a loop right at the bar end here. And you want to send your tail end back down through the bar. Cinch up your slack and make sure that it's very taut. Now this vertical lark's head knot on its own isn't very secure, so what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over to the back. Now we're going to take that strand we left at the bottom and we're going to tie a regular double knot using both of our strands. And as you're tying this, just be sure that it's right behind your lark's head knot so you can't see it from the front side. Once you have that really taut, what you want to do is you want to snip off the excess strands of rope. And you could leave it just like this, but I'm going to go ahead and hit it up with some hot glue. You can use fabric glue if you wish, or E6000. I like to make sure that it's all slicked in one direction so that it looks seamless. Now don't go yet because we aren't finished. What you want to do is you want to grab your entire project and flip it all the way over to the back side. We need to clean up the mess on the back, otherwise all those loose ends will dangle down and be quite messy. Alright, so to clean up the mess on the back, you want to grab any 2 strands of yarn that are close together. And all you have to do is tie just a regular double knot and then snip off the excess yarn. And don't worry, cleaning up all these loose ends on the back doesn't take nearly as long as all those vertical double half-hitch knots. Once you're finished tying up all your loose ends, I like to leave it as is. However, you could add a backing to it, which looks way more professional. If you're interested in learning how to attach a backing as well as your signature to your macrame tapestry, I'll leave a link to that tutorial on the screen now, and I'll see you over there.